shake the matrix, expand our minds, and make us all think. Hopefully, you guys are doing grand and great this morning. And let me just send a couple of invites here out to people. So, hopefully, everyone's doing great this morning because we sure as heck are. And it's been a good time. I tell you, this morning woke up early and had some meditation and started thinking about trauma and different things. Was listening to different podcasts and decided to put it all together and go, you know what? This is really important because trauma is something that puts us at hold, so many of us, for so long. And it's no fun. Hang on, one more little invite. Here we go. There we go. Grand risings to those who have joined. Welcome back, beautiful souls, and thank you for coming this morning. So today we are going to be diving into something that affects every human being here, every one of us, every human life, and every nervous system, and every pattern of energy on this planet. And guess what it is? We're going to talk about trauma, coherence, and the restoration of our original designs. How do we go through this insanity of trauma? Well, I'm one who has come through so much trauma. It's actually unbelievable. And most of the time, people would think I'm making up stories. So generally, I'm usually the one who's seen at parties when they're talking about childhood, being pretty quiet about it because it's not even worth looking at. It's become a story. What was worth looking at was what I believed about myself through those things. So, in the Awaken Trilogy, I teach that the inner world is our outer world, which is what we discussed yesterday, and what exists in the invisible patterns of our nervous system. Your belief structures, your subconscious, you know, is what echoes outward into your relationships, your choices, your reactions, your destiny, even. See, trauma is not just that, what has happened to you. You want to know what trauma is? Trauma is anything that overwhelms the nervous system so deeply that your inner patterns get disrupted and your system never returns to coherence. And today, we're going to go deep. We're going to go into science. We're going to hit philosophy. We're going to hit nature. We're going to hit spirituality, Gnostic memory. And in the teachings of Awaken the Ancient Ones, awaken to the original design, the lion escapes the matrix, and awaken, return to Eden. In this hour today, we're going to reclaim our original designs, the real patterns. So, what does trauma do to our inner pattern? Trauma isn't about the pain, it's about the refusal to accept the pain because the body was too overwhelmed to process it and even know what happened or to understand. See, your survival, your brain, your amygdala, your limbic system steps in and it says, this is too much. Hide it, bury it, fragment it. The body keeps the score. The nervous system remembers that what the consciousness mind forgets. The neuroscience, we talk about coherence firing, neurons firing out of rhythm, sending mixed signals and through the vagus system and the nerves into the organ, into the immune system. A system out of coherence becomes a system in survival. And it's hypervigilance, anxiety, addiction, self-sabotage, fear of rejection, inability to make decisions, emotional looping, projection, disconnection, feeling separate from all. We call this personality, but it's not personality. It's trauma wearing the mask of identity. See, just like fractal geometry shows that small distortions in the seed changes the entire pattern as it unfolds. Trauma is a distortion in your inner fractal, and life keeps repeating the shape until the pattern is restored. Why do you ever think that you're just following the same boom, boom, boom loops all the time, but just different people, different environment, but the same loops? See, in nature, everything is a pattern. The spiral of galaxy, the spiral of a seashell, the spiral of your DNA, and the self trauma looping in your mind. Fractals show us self similarity, and what is within is out. See, your inner world is not metaphorical, connected to the outer world. It is mathematically connected. And in the ancient agnostics text, the universe was described as a living pattern of consciousness where the microcosm of the microcosm mirror each other endlessly. The Gospel of Thomas says, when you bring forth what is within you will save you. But if you do not bring forth what is within you will destroy you. This is trauma. What is within you unseen, unintegrated, unfaced, begins to distort your outer life. And in the Awaken Trilogy, we explore the truth. You are not separate from the universe. You are not a victim trapped in a broken world. You are fractal no consciousness participating in creation. And trauma blocks the flow of that creative force. Healing restores it. So, how do we do this? See, the nervous system is electrical, and your thoughts are electrical, and your trauma responses are electrical. And when trauma occurs, the system enters survival mode, and the body does not return to harmony. This is kind of what we do in bioenergetics. We help realign and retune the body back to its original tones. See, your frontal lobe, the part of you that makes rational decisions, goes offline. And your vagus nerve, which regulates your organs, your sense of safety, becomes dysregulated. And your immune system behave like it's at war. See, your hormones shift into threat response. And this is why people repeat emotional wounds throughout life. Not because they're broken, but because they don't want to heal. And not because we don't want to heal, but because the trauma loop is still running and the body is trying to bring the wound into light. So let's shine a light on it. Trauma that affects you most is often the trauma you barely remember because it was buried. Because the nervous system said, we can't handle this. But what the mind hides, the body expresses through symptoms, through relationships, through reactions, through dreams, through symbols, through the shadow. See, your shadow is not your enemy. Your shadow is a part of you that was hidden to survive. And we were taught, hide your truth, be agreeable, don't make waves, don't speak your pain. And so the shadow forms. In the agnostic language, the shadow is the part of the soul that fell asleep. In psychology, it is the repressed self. In the Awaken Trilogy, I call it the silent guardian holding the piece of you until you are strong enough to come get them. And here's the secret. What triggers you reveals trauma that you're ready to integrate. The person who drives you crazy is showing you the part of you that needs light. And your reactions are the key to your healing. It's what I do every time I'm disturbed. Even if someone's done something that the response was matched with, I still go look. because your reactions are the key to your healing. And when a friend cancels plans and you feel rejected, that isn't the moment. That is your inner child remembering a moment of abandonment. When you feel rage that doesn't match the situation, that isn't the person, that is the wound. See, your unconscious cares more about safety than growth. So it hides the pain, it hides the truth, it hides the memory, it hides your voice, it hides you from yourself. But everything you repress carries life force and creativity. And this is why facing trauma feels like breaking chains off the soul. So, how do we restore the pattern? How do we return to coherence? Well, not by running, that's for sure. Not by numbing, and not by bypassing, and not by denying. Here's the sequence that restores the inner fractal. Name the situation that causes the emotional charge. Where does your energy spike? Where do you collapse? Where do you shut down? Awareness is the doorway. Where did this originate? Go deeper than the surface moment and ask yourself, your system, where is the origin point of this pattern? See, your body knows. Find the unresolved story. What story did you tell yourself in that original moment? I'm not worthy. I'm alone. I'm unsafe. I don't matter. This belief becomes a seed of fractal. So challenge the lie with truth. Trauma imprints a lie. Healing restores truth. And when you hijack, a moment comes, pause. Tell your body, this feeling is from the past. It is not who I am. I have to do that all the time. Create a conscious relationship with your unconscious. This is integration. This is awakening. This is the return of Eden. Let the wound speak. Because the wound is not the thing that hurts you. The wound is the part of you coming back to meet you. In the Awaken Trilogy, healing is not self-improvement. Healing is self-return. In the Awaken, the Ancient Ones, we remember our original design, the divine geometry of the soul before trauma distorted the pattern. In Awaken, the lion escapes the matrix. We break the illusion, the program, the identities created by trauma and conditioning. In Awaken, return to Eden, we restore coherence, return to our original fractal, and reclaim unity until between inner and outer worlds. See, the pattern is restored through truth, shadow integration, nervous system coherence, boundaries, identity, undefinition, radical acceptance, creative expression, and divine remembrance. You do not heal by becoming something new. You heal by remembering who you were before the world told you to be. And most people do not find themselves because they are afraid to enter the cave where the shadows wait. But you listening right now says to me, you're ready. It's time to reclaim the part of you that was hidden. It is time to restore the pattern. It is time to return to coherence. Trauma disrupted the design. Healing restores it. You are not your pain. You are not your memories. You are not the lies you believe. You are not the fractal distortion. You are the original blueprint, the divine geometry, the spark of consciousness, the lion of God awakening. So take a breath because you're home. You're home. So everyone, make sure you do one thing towards your dreams every single day. It brings you one step closer. Make sure you recognize that you're valuable and you matter. And you're all unique. Puzzle pieces are part of the ultimate puzzle of the cosmos. Hang in there. Peace and love. We'll see you guys next time.